What's going on, everybody? I am so fired up to bring you this information that you're about to hear in this special episode today. When I saw what these guys were doing and how legit it was, my mind was blown, and I had to bring them on the show to give you all of that value. This one is all about flash challenges, and if you want to be strategic, efficient, have fun, and make some money on flash challenges, especially in the upcoming playoffs, then you need to hear this. I wanted to welcome and thank Brandon Lewis from Flash to Cash for coming onto the show. In the video, he gives us a detailed breakdown of their bottlenecks and riser reports. We show you the spreadsheet and what they use on a nightly basis to buy and make good money off of these flash challenges. And also at the end of the video, they have a free playoff bracket challenge where you can enter and earn a ton of NBA Top Shot moments, including rares and S1s. Thank you for subscribing, and I hope you enjoy and get a ton of value out of this video. Let's go. All right, what's going on, everybody? We have Brandon Lewis here from Flash to Cash. I'm excited for this episode. We're going to be talking today. I'm going to give you a little bit of a breakdown on what is going down in this episode. We're excited for the playoffs. There's a lot of Flash challenges coming up. So we're going to talk about what Flash to Cash is. Brandon's going to tell us the story behind it. Then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes and look at the spreadsheet and how it's helpful for Top Shot users and how it drives value in being able to complete challenges at the best cost. And then after, we'll tell you how you can get access and then talk about the playoff bracket challenge that Brandon is running with a ton of good prizes. I'm excited to get into it. Brandon, welcome aboard. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, man. So let's go ahead and talk about Flash to Cash. A lot of people out there are familiar with it. They've seen it on Twitter, or other places in the community. But you're the one that actually started this one with maybe a couple other people. I'll let you tell me the story. Tell me about it and just briefly an overview and tell me how it got started and how many people are all involved and that good stuff.
Yeah, so I've started Flash to Cash probably early January. Basically kind of started getting frustrated with not being able to complete challenges, not always kind of checking my phone and like, nope, don't have that guy, and kind of missing out on, completing all these challenges or missing out on, selling the pumps. And so I just kind of started to create a spreadsheet for myself. And then, I sent it to a couple guys, one of the guys, Dream Shaker, who runs Boards to Buckets. And I was like, hey, yeah, you just plug this into your group and maybe other people will find value out of it. And he kind of pushed me. He's like, hey, create something out of this because there's a lot of need for this. There's a lot of value in this, and I think that we can use this. And basically, what I do is I cross-reference the moment values and the mint counts with minute projections and stat projections, and kind of identify the guys that could potentially pop off and be needed as a bottleneck before it actually happens. And so we've been doing that for about 3 months now. Have a really cool group of subscribers, really cool group of people that have helped me. D. Barry, J&J Dizzy, a lot of cool people have really helped put that together. And it's been really fun to be able to go on that journey. So
nice, man. I think all of us can relate to that, right? Like, it's so quick when it comes to these flash challenges that if you aren't acting within seconds, you're going to miss the ability to sell a pump, or you're going to miss the opportunity to get into a flash challenge profitably. So, it's one of the reasons why, I've kind of backed away from flash challenges a little bit. I follow all of them extremely closely, but in actually participating, I am excited to see what we can do in the playoffs here. I think it's a lot of fun. I've just been really busy lately. So I think something like Flash to Cash is a solution to that, where it just like saves a lot of people time and it lets them anticipate. I looked at the spreadsheet and we're going to pull it up on the screen in a second, but I love how it's broken down. Might as well just go ahead and do it now. I love how it's broken down, how you've organized it. There's differences between a bottleneck and a riser, which I like. Really detailed and I think really valuable. So let's go ahead and pull it up now and just jump right in. I have control of the screen, so you just let me know what you want to go over, and we'll drive this thing and maybe talk about, kind of focus it around what's relevant now as the playoffs coming up.
Definitely. Yeah. So this is the front page. It's pretty funny because when I first started this, I was doing all the adjustments manually, which was a nightmare. I was literally spending 4 or 5 hours a night, just manually updating the projections, manually updating the moments and all of that fun stuff. And over the All-Star break, I was able to, obviously with a team of help, I was able to fine tune everything and automate it all, so all the projections, all the moments, lowest ask and stuff, that's up to date, automatically updating, which is really pretty nice on my time. But this kind of just breaks down the new updates that we added, and then also breaks down the tabs. The tabs are a little bit different because playoff edition is a little bit different. Right now I don't have the injury report active because we don't know yet for Saturday. This is Saturday's sheet.
Okay, awesome. So just looking at it real quick here, some of the highlights, like you already mentioned, just the live pricing from Own the Moment. Okay, so it's tied into otmnft.com, which is one of my favorite resources on Top Shot for sure. I think they do a great job over there. And then what else is live? The injury report, the minutes projected, and the stats going into the night?
Correct.
Cool. Let's take a look at some of the tabs here. Like, we got the bottleneck report, and I like the way that you have it broken out. Let me see here.
Yeah, so the bottleneck report basically is a summary of everything, that all the data and all the stuff that I've sifted through. Before, when I was doing everything manually, I didn't have the time to kind of explain what I was looking at. I was basically just sending people all of the data that I was crunching. And people are like, this is great, but tell me what I need to know, And so this is basically a summary of, when I look at the slate and when I look at the trends and when I look at, the bottleneck guys, and then in the bottom of this sheet, basically there's a list of, my budget bottleneck buys, right? So like the top 5, top 10 guys that I'm looking at that fall into that bottleneck category, that are playing over 20 minutes a game, that potentially, if they do hit and you need that moment, it's going to pump.
Nice. I mean, this thing is broken down so well and so granular in detail. I was like super impressed when I saw the spreadsheet for the first time. And I know it's a service. We'll talk about how people can actually get access to the service. And if there's anything on the spreadsheet that you don't want me to show, let me know. But like this thing, you guys, this thing is broken down like crazy analysis to it. Like, we're looking here at and analyzing the flash challenges that have happened over the season. Each category, there's a chart that I'm looking at. It says, what's the category? Rebounds, steals, blocks, assists, points, 3-pointers, field goals made, bench points, free throws. How many times that specific category was used in a flash challenge and the date that it was last used. It's broken down by which sets come up the most often, which players come up the most often, which is the lowest mint count on each of the players, which is the lowest mint count on each of the Top Shot debuts. Like, you got it all right here. It's amazing. It's like completely segmented. So moving into the playoffs, I mean, can we take a look at a little bit? Maybe we just take a look at a little bit of, scroll through a little bit quickly, and stop me whenever you want, Brandon. But we have general bottlenecks over 20 minutes projected, risers over 18. I think a good thing to maybe hit right now is, what's the difference between a bottleneck and a riser?
Yeah, so bottleneck basically is anything, and it's automatically pumps it out. So have the formula basically set anything from 12K mint count and below. Okay. So, a Top Shot debut, that could be a bottleneck. 4K debut, that's going to be a bottleneck. And then a riser is basically, 12K between 40K and 12K. So, and it's all, bottlenecks are all relative, to what else hits on that slate. You can have a 12K hit, but you can also have a 4K hit. Now that 12K hit's not going to pump as much.
Exactly. Yep.
And so that's the same thing with the bottlenecks and the risers is, we kept seeing moments like D'Angelo Russell hit and pump. But he has he was 35K, right? So he didn't necessarily fall in the bottleneck category, but he was always rising because no one else was hitting. So I created that separate category because he was obviously less than 60K. And so that's basically the difference.
Yes. Okay. So, like Brandon said, right, these bottlenecks, if you are actively involved in Top Shot, you probably know what they are and have a good understanding. If you don't, I made a separate video on that explaining exactly what they are. But the thing about flash challenges as opposed to a regular challenge is that it's dynamic, right? That's the main thing. Somebody in the next game coming up could become a new bottleneck. There can be 3 different projected bottlenecks every single night, which is why there's so much value in a service like this right here. I mean, I saw it back early on in the season when I was doing a lot of the flash challenges. There was players like DeMar DeRozan who didn't have a S3 release yet, and they only had a 40K, I believe, or a 35K in Series 2, right?
40K. Yep.
40K. So because he didn't have a 35 and a 40K like some players like Jokic or Embiid, that got on the rise a lot more than those other ones because instead of just 75,000 available out there, and both of those combined, there was only 40. So even something like a common moment with a high mint count can be a riser. Am I right?
Yep. Yep. And the thing with that DeMar DeRozan example is, if I remember correctly, you needed 2 of him. So that was the reason why he pumped so much, is you needed 2 of those moments. And especially with, these playoff challenges coming up, I think they're going to start doing, multiple stats, like top 3 points, top 3 assists in this game, so there's possibilities that multiple people can hit, or a person can hit multiple times. And now that even multiplies that bottleneck.
That's a great point. That's a good nugget right there. A juicy piece of speculation is that they're going to need multiple players. I can definitely see that happening, especially if they do something like a weekend-long flash challenge or a series-long flash challenge that I don't know if you've speculated on, which is definitely possible. You never know. They always like to keep us on our toes, right?
Yep. Yep.
So now what am I looking at now? I'm looking at a playoff analysis. You got all of the general bottlenecks, all of the risers, and all a separate category of players with only one moment. It's broken down by mint count. It's broken down by price of each one. You have it also segmented by the playoff set from 2021, which I think a lot of us think are going to come to play into playoffs of 2022 for the flash challenges.
Yep. Yeah. So basically, this is just, I listed all of them. Every player that's playing, on that team in this playoffs, listed their moment, listed their mint count, separated them by the bottlenecks, risers, and then the players that have the one moment. And then took an extra deep dive into the playoff set. I did a little preparing for the playoff set as well. I do want to kind of go back to the bottleneck report real quick and touch on. So if you keep scrolling down.
Yep.
So I looked at the rares too, because the rares keep coming up, and I've had a lot of people look at the rares, and then the playoff moments. Keep scrolling down a little bit.
At the right spot.
Yeah,
we got a bottleneck buy report right here too.
Yeah, so this is my budget bottleneck buy. Basically, I look at all the potential bottlenecks and I list my top 5, top 10, depending on how large the slate is. One of my favorites right now is Dinwiddie, with Luka potentially out. He has, if his S2 is needed, he's only 15K, right? And he's at $6 a piece. Buy a couple of them. I think I have about 10 right now. So, bought them for $6 a piece. And if he pumps, that's going to be a $30 moment. And now, I've just built my bankroll without really putting much at risk, because I'm not buying the pump beforehand. I'm buying the pump beforehand. So, even if he doesn't hit, I could still sell him back for $5-6 a piece.
We love that here, man. That's awesome. You know, the cool thing about Top Shot is you can get crafty, and that's exactly what this is. I mean, one situation like that, and I'm sure it pays for the cost of the service here, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But, you know, anytime that you can get a nice pump, sell strategically, and then use that to build your collection long term, I do that all the time. I've done it in the past. I'll continue to do it in the future. You got to get crafty out there, and that's
Yeah.
the strategies that we like to talk about here. So I'm glad that we had you on. I know a lot of people are going to go crazy over these bottleneck budget buys. I mean, the hype alone can just kind of even get the floor going up on those. But I love the pick on Dinwiddie too. That could be a really interesting one to take a look at. And I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to ask you if you got anything stacked up yourself.
Yeah, I got a nice little stack of Dinwiddie. Just kind of going through the bottleneck buys. I went through a phase of where I was basically just buying as many as I could and spreading my net as wide as I could so that I could just complete the challenges. And then once I kind of had a nice little stockpile of all of the, I was like, oh, I have one of every one on my budget or on my bottleneck sheet. Then I started kind of stacking guys. Like, okay, like I'm set for completing the challenge, but now I want to make some extra cash. And kind of targeting guys that were underpriced and looking at the minutes, so just kind of looking at that sheet. Vanderbilt, he's up to 18, but he's only getting 21 minutes, so I'm not going to stack him, right? But Dinwiddie, he's getting 25 minutes, he's only $6, so people haven't really caught on to that one yet. So that's just an opportunity for me to, I'm sure people catch on now, but that's an opportunity for me to buy low and then sell high when the pump happens. And we've done that a couple times with Horford. When Horford hit, Vanderbilt was one that I hit on earlier in the year. Biombo hit on him as well. So, and a lot of our subs have really, Baisley have really benefited from doing that. And yeah, it pays for itself at that point.
That's amazing. Well, if you haven't heard of Flash to Cash, remember where you heard it and get on it for the playoffs this time around. I think this is an awesome and valuable service for the Top Shot community. I wanted to skip over the play-in challenge. Is there any other tabs that you want to hit on to kind of keep this video concise? Because I know we got another thing to talk about too. We want to talk about the playoff bracket challenge that you guys have going on over there with that's free to enter, and you get a ton of cool prizes by winning the playoff bracket. What's the other priorities on the call that we should look into before we move on?
Yeah, I think quickly touch on the set analysis. It's a new tab that I just created. It basically takes a look at every single set on the site and then looks at the type of moments. Because we've been seeing a lot of these bottlenecks come from the sets in the set within the sets, so you need a Cool Cat's assist, or you need and kind of looking at that ahead of time to see and kind of just planning ahead, because I think it was Cool Cat's assist. I had started doing this, I hadn't really launched it yet, and the fact that there was I think there was 3 of them, but there was only one that was affordable, and then I bought a couple of them. And so just being able to kind of think ahead and plan ahead and kind of look at data like this has helped me. So I give it out to other people so I can help them as well.
Play type, set type, challenge reward or not challenge reward, everything, series, everything comes into play. Right. I mean, like we've seen it firsthand with the wheel, which is the most extreme example of it.
Right. And that's not going away. The wheel is not going away. So,
you have that on good word. You got,
I don't have, so just want to give clarify. I don't have any insider information.
I know. Yeah, of course.
This is just me. I mean, people ask me that all the time.
Sure. Okay.
But this is just me, diving into the information that's available for us. And so I'm pretty sure that the wheel's not going away. I've seen hints that it's not going away.
Okay.
I'm sure they'll tweak it to make it easier for the majority of us, because most people don't love the wheel right now. But I don't think it's going away. So the best thing that we can do is adapt to it and plan for it, and hopefully we put our themselves in a better position to be ready for it.
I agree with you. Yeah, I know a lot of people aren't happy with the wheel right now, especially after the run it back. I mean, how many? 53 out of 54. That's the most brutal. That's the
Yeah.
most brutal break I could ever imagine. A Clay Thompson legendary is the bottleneck for the
Yep.
challenge. Oh my
And
goodness.
that's the thing with the sheet too, is a lot of the times, we saw that coming. When we have the wheel, we update the sheet live with the wheel. So we have it coming out as the wheel is being decided. And most of the time I have the information done before their stream is even completed. So once they came out with, the details of that, I'm like, yeah, Clay Thompson, that would be scary, and so even when bottlenecks hit that we aren't prepared for, it's
Yeah.
not like we're surprised,
Right.
right? So we're like, okay, like look out for this guy, and then we're watching like, oh no, Clay's, here he goes.
That's amazing. Well, this is just absolute gold for anybody watching this video and anybody that's involved with your service. I wanted to keep this brief, but like I also don't want to cut it off because I think there's so much value here. Do you want to go in anything else? Do you think we're at a good point? Let me know if you want to move on to another tab or talk about the playoff bracket challenge. It's on your time, bud.
Yeah, I think pretty good. Probably the last thing to touch on within the sheet is just kind of how to gain access.
Yep.
And you can find that in the introduction sheet.
Okay.
But basically, you can just reach out to me. The subscription is a subscription based model. Subscription $5 a week, $15 a month. Right now, I'm doing a $25 for the entire playoffs, which is over 2 months. So just trying to add value there. And you can either send that to via Top Shot Moments to my Top Shot. Reach out to me on Twitter or email, or I also have PayPal, all that kind of stuff set up as well. So yeah.
Sweet. I love it. Yeah, it's it. I mean, I assume that you have gotten a ton of positive feedback for the community. Like, how many people are paying for this right now or involved with the service just for, I mean, if you can share, you don't need to necessarily.
Yeah. So I mean, so I started this about 3 months ago. I've had over 150 people
Nice.
in and out of the sheet right now. I
Okay.
currently have about 50. Loyal subscribers. It's kind of a tough time in Top Shot land right now.
For sure.
Sentiment's really down, but one of the cool things that we do is we do have a Discord through Boards to Buckets that it's a nice community place where we can talk about the sheet and kind of strategize together. Like, hey, I'm buying this guy, so that we can plan accordingly together and kind of use other people's brains using the same tools. In case I'm looking at something, I missed something, or someone else has a good idea. That's been really good tool for us, because for the longest time people were just DMing me like, oh, like, who do I need to buy? I'm like, there was no place for us to kind of all talk about and kind of bounce ideas off each other using the tools. So that's been a really good tool for all of us. So definitely recommend Boards to Buckets Discord as well.
That's awesome, man. Not only are you getting the ultimate alpha when it comes to flash challenges, you're also getting community to come along with it. So that's pretty amazing. I think you hit it perfectly. Like, given where we're at in Top Shot right now, 50 people active in this service is extremely impressive. And
Thank you.
Congrats to you guys. Hopefully this helps the group grow. Let's talk about the playoff bracket, because you guys are having let me zoom out real quick.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about the playoff bracket challenge that you guys have going on. We have a ton of good prizes. It's free to enter. I'll pull up the graphic in just a second, but I wanted to shout out one of my subscribers, Cozy Hoser, who just sent over a Chris Paul playoff challenge reward moment. I also donated a game recognized game Anthony Edwards and a John Morant S3 to that one. And I know there are a ton of other, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's a ton of other prizes that we'll get into, including some rares and some S1s too. So what's the best graphic we can look at to break that thing down?
Yeah, you can go to the Flash to Cash Twitter,
Okay.
and then scroll down a little bit. I think the second post, you'll be able to see the
Boom, right
right.
here.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, cool. You want it on here? I'll click into it.
Yeah, you can click into it. So the reason I wanted to do this last year, I think it was Liberary. He had one of these going, and I entered, and there was over 2,000 people that had entered, and had a blast. I had so much fun just kind of following the playoffs, and I was new into Top Shot, so um, wasn't really buying a bunch of playoff moments or anything like that, but I was following along with the playoffs through the challenge, and I ended up taking third overall out of 2,000 people. I called the Bucks beating the Suns in the finals before the playoffs even started. So I was pretty happy. I ended up winning a rare pack, which was really fun for me. So that was a highlight of my year last year, obviously, plus the flash challenges. That's when they kind of started coming out. It was last year's playoff. So I just wanted to kind of bring that back to this year's playoff. And I kind of reached out. No one was really doing anything. And part of Flash to Cash is we have weekly challenges, or we have weekly contests within our group that free to enter for our subs. That there's prizes and stuff. So I was going to do one of those, but then I was kind of looking around and no one was doing anything. So I wanted to make something free to enter for everybody, and kind of reached out to some people to see if we can get some donations. Have some really generous donations. Just really appreciate everyone that has donated. We have 2 rares right now: De'Aaron Fox, MGLE, All Star Bradley Beal, S1 Jaylen Brown, and I know potentially have some packs in the works right now, and more donations coming. So just wanted to do something fun for the community. I know it's kind of sentiments down right now, but just something fun for people to do through the playoffs without having to spend moments.
That's amazing, man. There's a couple things going on that's going to pick up the spirits, I think. I mean, we all like gambling and we all like watching basketball, right?
Right.
And we all like making money and we all like winning stuff. And I think it's the perfect combo. Top Shot's supposed to be fun, right? I think there's a lot of fun to be had, especially during the playoffs right now. So this is what the community is all about. I see the deadline here is April 16th, which is Saturday at 10 a.m. I'm going to be posting this video today. This is Thursday the 14th. So at least 36 hours in advance, you'll be able to get in on this if you're interested in joining this free playoff bracket challenge. And I mean, break it down. It seems pretty simple. Is it just like the Final Four tournament, or?
Yeah, so it's through, and there should be a link down below. It's through NBA.com, basically.
Oh, here you go. Okay.
Yeah, so that's how you enter.
Okay.
Basically, just click that link. You enter in the group. And you just pick your who you think is going to win, how many games, and there's points divided up, whether you get the games right, whether you get the team right.
Wow.
And then it keeps track of that. So we'll go based off of those standings, and first we haven't decided the prize structure yet because we have donations still coming in, still taking donations until the Saturday deadline. So so once we have all those donations in, then we'll put together the price structure. But it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to it.
That is awesome, man. Well, I'll throw it out there. One of the reasons why I wanted to have you on here is because of this to talk about right here. Since I'm not doing anything on my channel for the playoffs like this, I wanted to be able to support someone else. And I think the way that you guys are doing things over there is just on point. So if any of the subscribers to the channel want to donate anything to the Flash to Cash prize pot, feel free to send them over to me and shoot me a note letting me know that that's what it's for, and I'll get them over to Brandon, or you can just shoot them straight to Brandon. That also works too. So I'm going to definitely join this. I'm excited. I've never done one of these myself before, and I'll probably come in middle of the pack. I'm not going to say I'm coming in last, but I'll probably come in middle of the pack. I'll give myself that much credit, and have fun with it, man. It'll be fun to follow along throughout the playoffs.
Definitely.
Cool. All right, people. So there you have it. That was an awesome interview with Brandon Lewis with Flash to Cash. I love this service. I'm going to be talking about it all the time now. I know I'm going to be joining their bracket challenge for the playoffs and be getting involved. I wanted to thank Brandon for coming on here and give him, you got any last thoughts that you want to sign off with or anything like that? The floor is all yours.
I just want to thank you for having me on. Just really appreciate the opportunity to share about what we're doing over here, and just want to add value to the community any way that we can. So if anyone has any ideas or anyone wants to get involved or subscribe or anything like that, you can reach out to me on Twitter.
Amazing. I got all of Brandon and Flash to Cash's information in the description of this video, so check it out there. And of course, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for following me on other social medias. If you want short updates, I do a bunch of Twitter updates, put out content on there. I do written stuff on Twitter also, and also short updates on TikTok and Instagram. So we're going to sign off from here. Brandon, thanks again. I will cut the video. We can wrap things up and then be on with our days, man. Enjoy the playoffs, and thanks for coming on.
Of course.